All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Thursday night training call with Tom and myself, Dylan. We're excited, obviously, to have you here. Thank you for tuning in on a Thursday night. Again, we're very excited, obviously, to have this open Q&A that we were trying to do last week, and of course, some things just didn't work out for us. So we're very excited, obviously, to be able to do that tonight. We've got a lot of attendees here. We're really excited, obviously, to answer your questions live here on the chat. So we're going to utilize, obviously, the live chat feature. We're also I'm going to actually disable the public chat portion because I want you guys to be able to answer or ask your questions without everybody else seeing them. And of course, we'll go through and answer those questions as we go. Folks, keep your questions, please, related directly to the Ingresso Cybernetical products. This is not a support-related webinar. However, if there's anything we can do, obviously, to help you with something that has to do with a product or a functionality, please feel free to ask. I mean, these are related to the new Ingresso Cybernetical products, but you're more than welcome to ask any question related to an Ingresso Cybernetical product this evening. So we've got some questions as well. I know, Tom, I don't know if you have the Q&As or the frequently asked questions that we actually had went through before that we were going to bring to the webinar. I forgot to ask you about that here before we started, but folks, before we actually kick this off officially, if you could just let us know that you can see us, you can hear us over on the other live page there, that would be great. We definitely want to make sure, obviously, that we don't have any hiccups there, and that you guys can see everything and be able to communicate with us as well, because that's very important for this webinar. So again, if you could type in the number 2, maybe 2 or 3, doesn't matter. Just type in a number there in the chat box. Let us know that we're good to go, and we will kick us off here in just another minute or so officially, and then we'll go ahead and answer your questions.
Yeah, buddy, I got a test screen up. It looks like it's showing good over there on that side, and yes, I have that doc ready in case we need it.
Okay, great. The one thing I'm concerned about, though, is I don't see anybody posting in the number 2 or 3 in the chat box, so I want to make sure that that feature is working as well. I know we disabled the public chat feature, folks, but I don't know, Tom, if you can see over there. Okay, somebody said all's fine. We got 2s. We got 2s. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's a pretty good delay, probably about a full minute delay tonight, so that's what's going on.
Oh, okay, no problem. All right, well, thank you all for your participation there. We want to go ahead and basically, this is actually just an open Q&A. We want to go ahead and make sure that we can answer your questions. So please, we're going to actually lock the screen on Heather there for those that are hearing impaired, so that everybody can see Heather there front and center. If you're looking for anything visual tonight, we may actually jump over and show you something, but we don't necessarily need to jump over and do any live screen sharing or anything like that. So, but again, if you have any questions, please right now go ahead and type your questions in the chat box so that we can answer those questions for you. We really want to make sure that we go ahead and field all those questions. Anything related to a product, Ingresso Cybernetico's new products, maybe the Cybernetical Live, whatever it may be, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to go through that. So, Tom, I know we actually wrote down some Q&As, some frequently asked questions that people actually ask. So if you want to go through some of those as we're waiting for some of these other new questions to come in, we can do that. Sure. That would be a great part of it. Let me just go back over here, and I'll actually man the chat section. But if you want to just kind of go through maybe some of the questions that people ask, I know that ask you, and then of course I'll talk about some of the ones that people ask me quite frequently, and then we'll go ahead and answer their questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me find what's pretty common in here, and we'll just go until you guys get a couple questions in there, because I know there's a slight delay here. So, well, let's talk about the matrix. Just in case you're not really sure how that works. Matrix is a 2x2 board. And when you fill it up, you're going to earn the extra commission. So I just want to make sure you understand how that part works. It's a great way to make some upfront money while you're building out the residual part. So that's one of the common questions we get, and that's kind of what cycling means. When you cycle, it means you filled up that business center, then you get paid. Another common question we get is, how many times can I fill a board and cycle? And the answer to that is there is no limit to this. You can start a new board right after you finish the last one. It's actually set up that it's automatic now.
Here's a question. A lot of people have asked how many IC lead pages can be created. how many IC lead pages do I have the ability of creating? And as far as I know, you actually have the ability to create as many sales funnels as you want to with the IC lead pages portion. Now, Ingresso Cybernetico, folks, for those that have been with Ingresso Cybernetico for a while, we also have, or we did used to have, I haven't been back there recently with the old section because I love the IC lead pages, but we used to have another lead page system that would allow you to create only so many pages. But with the it's my understanding you have the ability to actually create capture pages and sales funnels as you want to with that. You also get the Magic Responder is all tied for those that have access to Cybernetico Live. So really awesome. I don't know, Tom, if you have another one, then I'll go through another one.
Sure. Let's see. Here's another common one we get. It says, somebody might wonder what happens if they don't pay their membership, the $25 a month. So here's basically what happens. You're going to go into an inactive status, and that means you're not going to be able to cycle. You're not going to earn commissions. You won't have access to your products, and you're not going to appear up on the boards until you're active again. So you just want to resolve that as soon as possible. And what's really cool now is the company's put together something called Smart Order, so you can actually set that up on like an auto ship, if you will. So definitely you get some really good advantages. I just covered them on the other webinar as well. Like it bumps from wherever you're at. Like if you only have 500 capacity on your Magic Responder, as soon as you turn on Smart Order, it bumps you up to 20,000. So that's pretty awesome value right there.
Absolutely. Here's another thing too that a lot of people have asked as well, like with the Magic Responder. Now, folks, if there's any product that you're utilizing with Ingresso Cybernetico, we've heard so many people talk about the business opportunity, but one of the things that we quite honestly do not see a lot of is the talk about really the product. So make sure that you're really focusing. I know this is a Q&A for products, but make sure you're really focusing on the value of the products as well. Sometimes it's a good indicator that you're not using the products a lot of times if you're just talking about the money. And it really is very, very you show the value for people as they come into this business. That's challenging is being able to understand and be able to learn the internet marketing aspect of this within a very short period of time. I know Dwayne himself does. We've got Charles that does training calls. We've got everybody that's doing training calls and explaining, really the value and how to use these products. But my point to that is that if you're not using Magic Responder, you're really, really, truly missing out. A lot of people have actually asked questions about, Magic Responder, but some of those questions that they ask sometimes really gives me an indication that they haven't even logged in. You can actually create as many campaigns as you want to with Magic Responder. Okay, you can actually create some really awesome sales funnels, obviously, because remember, IC lead pages is the front end capture page, right, or opt-in page, but the actual machine behind all of it is actually Magic Responder. And quite honestly, if I was to look at any product that we have with Ingresso Cybernetico, there's two that really stand out for me, and that's Cybernetico Live, which we have this evening, and also Magic Responder. Those are really two important products that I really suggest you diving in and using them if you're not using them already. And I'm going through the chat feature here as we're looking here, guys, and I see a lot of questions about Magic Responder, which is why I want to bring that up. But let me go ahead and actually field some of the questions that have come in so far. And folks, if you have any questions, feel free, please, to ask those questions as you continue to come in. I know some people are saying that the thing is breaking up. A lot of times it has to do with your connection. Now, I'm actually here in Georgia, and it's storming right now, so that could be a part of it. I don't really know. We'll have to find out once we do the replay. But a lot of times, if you have a lot of things going on in the background with your computer and everything, that's one of the things with Google Hangouts that you'll find is that's challenging. If you have a lot of things running, it's going to either kick you off. It's not going to load very quickly. You're going to have it jumbled up just a little bit. So just understand that Hangouts is a great tool. and with powered by Cybernetic, or with it being connected to Cybernetical Live, obviously it's an incredible tool. You just have to make sure, obviously, that you have the bandwidth, that you don't have a bunch of things open and running, and that you have really good internet speeds in order for it to really work for you. So, so I apologize if it is breaking up. We will have this recorded, so you can always go back and listen to it. Hopefully, it's not jumbled up there when it gets re-recorded. So, or as it gets recorded. So, one of the questions was, I used Cybernetical Live last night. When I shared my screen, it stayed on the same slide on the viewer side. I used 2 laptops and watched the replay. It stayed on the same slide throughout the presentation, even though I was clicking through the different slides and so on and so forth. What happens with that is there's many different features with Hangouts, right, with Cybernetical Live. When you're in Cybernetical Live's back office, if any of you have used it yet, which we've seen a lot of people using it, you have a feature that says screen share. It looks like a little green computer screen with an arrow on it. When you click that, what happens is it pulls up and it asks you, where do you want to show the content or share the content within your screen? If you are doing a presentation, okay, this actually happened to me, folks, when I was doing the new member orientation a few weeks ago. You have to, it's all trial and error, okay, it's going to happen for everybody, especially as you're learning. What you want to do is you want to actually lock on your screen, not on a specific window, because what happens is, and it sometimes can be confusing, especially if you have a lot of open windows there, because a lot of times you're just looking for when you pull up the screen share, you're looking for the document that you want to share, right? So you're clicking on the actual share the screen, or share the tab, not the screen, and that can be an issue, especially if you go full screen. Because what happens is, and this is what happened to me, is that if you actually have a PowerPoint presentation, or you have a Google Doc or Google Slides, okay, which we like to use now because it's really compatible with Google Hangouts, when you go full screen, when you go from an actual tab itself or a window and you go full screen with that, the Hangout was locked on the initial window, not on your full screen presentation. So you cannot actually go full screen with a presentation if you're doing it through Google Hangouts. Now the trick is to actually pull the presentation up in a separate window so that it's full screen and then it's minimized, and then of course lock your screen on the screen share. You don't need it full screen for you, but it will show full screen for everyone else. And then just go through the presentation as you would. A lot of times you hit your left or right arrow on your keyboard, it'll go through the presentation slides for you. It'll be very seamless for you, and it'll be a great presentation for the viewers on their end. So that's one of the things you got to get familiar with the Google Hangout platform and Cybernetical Live. We used to use with Ingresso Cybernetica, we used to use GoToWebinar, right? So we used to be able to go full screen, and it would actually just show the full screen of whatever it was that we were presenting. There's good and bad things about that. One is we could never see the chat window, and 2 is that a lot of times if we were using Keynote, it would actually interfere with the GoToWebinar platform. So we actually believe that the system we have now with Cybernetical Live and the way it's set up, it's just a little bit of getting used to. Once you get used to it, it's really, really awesome, incredible service. So it's really takes a little bit of getting used to, but hopefully I answered your question here. That's one of the reasons why that window is just displaying, is because I think you were locked on the actual tab as opposed to the screen. And there's many different options there. Best thing to do is just do a test one yourself. Just pull up create a test webinar through Cybernetical Live and kind of mess with it a little bit. And it doesn't matter what computer you're on. It just matters what tab you're clicking and where you're locking it on. So hopefully that helps, and we may actually even do a training on that here coming up. So thanks for that question. Another question. I wasn't able to see the chat section as a host when I did see it on the other laptop. What was I doing wrong? That was from the same person. So thank you again for that question as well. One of the things that happens is sometimes when you're in the Cybernetical Live control area, if you click on the Cybernetical Live icon for the Cybernetical Live feature, that chat feature will disappear. Okay, it'll actually go away. So what you have to do is literally just go over to the left-hand side of your screen as you're doing a Hangout, okay, or excuse me, a webinar as we call it, then just click on the Cybernetica Live app, and it will bring up those features again for you over to the right-hand side so that you can actually see the live chat feature. You can disable it, enable it, see the polls, attendees, all that great stuff. So that is probably what the issue was with that. Because most of the time, folks, once you start to use Cybernetica Live, your Cybernetica Live app will actually load every time that you do a webinar or a hangout, as we call it. So hopefully that was probably the issue for you. But again, we'll do a training on that here coming up, and we'll get more clarification on that for you, just so we can show you a lot what sometimes can happen on a live hangout. So with Magic Responder, is there any way to know the leads are coming from? For example, if it is an ad or Facebook, etc. So.
That's fine. I was reading a chat from Heather. She had dropped off for a minute and came back on.
Yep.
So I don't know if there were some issues. If you want to click back on her, or she says she's having.
That's fine.
It must be the computer connection between us and her. I don't know what's up, but.
That's possible. That's fine. You want to answer the question, or you want me to go ahead and answer it?
I was reading the chat. Which question was it?
Okay. I'll go ahead and answer it. They're speaking about Magic Responder. Let me go back here. The question was with Cybernetica, or with I always want to say Cybernetica Live. With Magic Responder, is there a way to know where the leads are coming from? For example, if they run an ad or a solo ad or Facebook, etc. Is there a way for them to identify where the lead's coming from?
Yeah. So I mean, basically, you have to use some tracking software, and then you'll see where it comes in to that page. You know, so if you use you need to make multiple points of entry into that sales funnel, I guess, so then you can see exactly where they're coming from. Like if you're doing, I don't know if you use Craigslist, but just for example, say you're doing Craigslist ad or something, and you have one particular page you're using for that, so you can see it's coming off that page only. If you use that page 10 different places and don't use any tracking software, it's going to be really tough to tell.
All right, and then there's many different ways to track your leads as they come in. Quite honestly, unless you have a lot of leads coming in, you know, you should really note a lot of times, typically, where those leads are coming from. Now, not always, so that's not always the case, but you may have a ton of leads coming in through different sources. Tom, if you can mute there, buddy, I appreciate it. So, you know, you got many different sources that, you know, where those leads can come in from. So. The one thing that you know, Magic Responder does have, or that actually IC Lead Pages has, is analytics. So there's many different things and tools back there that you can actually see where either the traffic's coming from. You can see where the opt-in came from. Many different things. You can actually, one of the things you could do is you could actually create multiple opt-in forms for a particular campaign. And I believe I've never done it before because I've never really had to deal too much with that, because most of my traffic I'll run in one place so that I do know what is working, and then I'll change it up. But I think you might be able to actually create multiple opt-in forms for a particular campaign, and based on the identifier. I don't know if you can actually tell by that, but that's a good question. I'll look a little bit further into that. But for the most part, I wouldn't do too much to not be able to identify where it is that the leads are coming from, because then again you're going to be scrambling yourself trying to figure out. But you can do link tracking and stuff like that through many different ways.
All right. It's built in that you can do that right on IC Lead Pages. So if they're coming through a certain IC Lead page, you have the ability to do it that way as well.
Right. All right. So will they be coming with video capture pages? We already have video capture pages, I believe. That's a good question, actually. You know what? A lot of capture pages, if they're not back there, they will be soon. I know that that's something that, you know, the company definitely wants to offer to, you know, to be available. But I'm pretty sure, though, that any of the, let me say this, because I know that there actually is capture pages back there. I don't know specifically what it is you're looking for. Maybe if there's something you're looking for specifically, you know, send in an example to support or to Ingresso Cybernetica and ask them, you know, say, you know, hey, can we get a capture page similar to this? If it makes sense, then the company definitely will look into that for you to accommodate everybody else as well. But any of the pages that are back there, okay, even if they just say a thank you page or they say a webinar page, you can use any of those pages. They're all customizable. You can use them for any purpose that you choose. So there already are video pages back there. Right off the top of my head, I don't typically use video capture pages for the front end for the front end opt-in. So I can't say for sure on some of the lead pages there, but most of them are all static images. And then of course you've got the option to do the click button, and it'll pop up with the capture lead, or the capture lead information will be over to the left hand or the right hand side a lot of times. But I do know that there are video pages back there that you can utilize for that service. But if you're looking for something in particular, something specific, take a capture, take a screenshot of what it is you're looking for, and maybe send it to the company, ask them specifically if we can have something similar to that. Because if it makes sense, again, the company, you all know, will do their best to accommodate the field. So somebody said with chat and serve. I apologize, guys. The chat feature keeps pushing me. It goes down to the recent one, which is fine, which is actually a good thing, but I'm trying to read them here and it keeps pushing it, but that's okay. Is there a way, I don't think that was the one I was looking for. Okay, with chat and serve, if we get agents, how will they access or log into the work to work on the chat? Now, there's still a lot of development going on with the chat and serve product as far as some of the supporting, like the support ticketing type process. One of the things I will tell you is that when you add an agent, they're actually going to have their own username and login. You're actually going to specify their name, and then if they do not get an email, okay, which was something that I believe they should be getting. If they're not getting an email, though, then just send them the login information, and they can actually log into your dashboard and be able to facilitate that service for you. And I appreciate, guys, all the questions. This is great because this is one of the reasons why we created this. We wanted to make sure, obviously, we could answer questions. I know some people are saying that we were breaking up. It could be, again, on your end. Again, we'll check the recording and find out for you, but everything else seems to be good. So, speaking of Magic Responder, this is a question. You can't type $300. Let's see. It just moved on me again. You can't type $300 in a broadcast message and it show up as $300. It shows up as 00. When will this be fixed? Well, that's a great question. I didn't actually know that that's an issue. One of the things I do want to say, though, is if you're typing dollar amounts in your messages, the chances of it going to spam are probably pretty high. I don't know that I would put dollar amounts in your messages. That's actually something we teach not to do, because if you want people to see your messages, you don't want to put dollar amounts in there. You're better off actually spelling it out. And even if you spell it out, though, there are keywords that especially Gmail loves to kick out. Yahoo, all of them love to kick out, because especially put it in spam for you. So it's not always necessarily the way that you're it's not always Magic Responder that's putting in a spam, or your email is putting in a spam. It's actually what the content of your email is. That's actually very important. So, however, though, I will, if you want it that way, which is perfectly fine. We're not saying you have to, or we're just giving you a suggestion. But if you want $300 to be able to appear in there and it's not appearing, we will definitely look into that for you. Tom, actually, if you could write that down for us, that'd be great, and we'll bring that up.
I'm taking notes. I'll put it down.
Awesome, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll definitely bring that up to the support team. All right, so let me see. Somebody says, I'm not comfortable promoting a product that doesn't work properly. We understand. Here's what I want to say to that, though. Understand that with anything, okay, there's always going to be certain glitches and certain things, especially when they're developing products that are basically built from the ground up. And as the company continues to evolve and actually make these products better for Ingresso Cybernetico, you got to remember that it's going to take time. There are certain times where it could be that maybe you just didn't clear your cookies, right? Because there's several updates that were made to the systems or to the products, okay? it's very, very, it's actually a great idea, as we go through the rest of the year with Ingresso Cybernetico, because everything that the company's doing from now going forward is to make the products better and to continue to enhance the features of the products and make them just even more incredible than they are now. So I do understand the process as far as not being comfortable promoting a product that doesn't necessarily do what it says it does. I don't know. I know personally, with confidence, that there's no products Ingresso Cybernetico has that doesn't do what it says that it does. There's just some instances, again, where it could be that your computer maybe has a stored cookie or something. That could be a factor. We do have factors sometimes where, again, there's certain updates that get done throughout the middle of the night. And then, of course, in the morning, certain people will have a certain thing that maybe not be working properly on a particular browser. Well, that's part of what's incredible about being part of a company that if you ask for something, the company will accommodate you. It's just, you've got certain things that you've got to work through on that. But I can tell you, folks, I've been with Ingresso Cybernetico for about a year, close to a year now, and any one of the products that they have, okay, all work seamlessly, okay, unless there's something there that a lot of times is on my end or that there was an update made for something previously created. And of course, if you send a ticket into support or you contact support live chat, that issue typically is resolved very, very quickly. So my question to you, for the person that asked that question, I'm not going to name names, but I would just say this. You said that there is actually, you said that there was an issue with it typing in the 300 and it not appearing correctly. Did you actually contact the live support agent and get that issue addressed? If you haven't done so, then I can understand your frustration waiting for that to be fixed. It has to be brought up to support. If you create a support ticket, that's good too, because it is tracked and it will be worked. However, if you really want something fixed very quickly, look for the live chat agent, and they will do everything that they can to get that brought up to somebody within the support center so that they can get that fixed immediately. Because we understand that that is an issue that does need to be addressed. And I just had Tom write it down. So if you actually probably check your Magic Responder within 30 minutes from the time we end this webinar, I'll pretty much guarantee you that it'll probably be fixed. All right, so let's see. Let's see. Is there a way to test the autoresponder to see if it is working the way you want to see it? Let's see. Sorry, it pushed me. So I want to see it if I did everything right. Well, that's a great question for the person that asked that, because really we highly recommend that you test your things when you set them up. We recommend you test your sales funnels. We recommend that you test your email autoresponder series, everything, because I can't tell you how many times, folks, I've actually made a mistake and copied HTML or something in the wrong area. Maybe I forgot to copy just one little piece of the HTML, and it didn't work, and I actually paid for traffic to be sent to a capture page, and I didn't have any results, right? And I'm sitting there scratching my head saying, there's got to be results. And the issue is that we're not testing the things that we're setting up. It's all trial and error, right? I mean, we know that a lot of you are just getting into internet marketing. It took me 5-6 years to learn a lot of this stuff. I came from the traditional way of belly-to-belly internet marketing or network marketing, I should say, direct sales, and I had to learn all of this stuff. But I'll tell you, once you learn it, it's really incredible. It's definitely a game changer for you as you continue to get better with what you're doing. But yes, the easiest way to do that is you can actually, as you're building your sales funnel message, or as you're building your autoresponder messages, you can actually do a test message to make sure that it's formatted properly, because sometimes that can be a little tricky. Or what you can do is, once you get your sales funnel up, you can actually take the HTML that's given to you for your opt-in page or your opt-in form, and you can literally just pull it up in a browser. And opt in and be able to opt into your own sales funnel and see if that's working for you properly. Okay. I would recommend, though, because a lot of times people set the messages for like a day out. If you opt into your own sales funnel, you're probably not going to get the message, at least for a day. So best thing to do is, as you create the page, as you're creating the message, before you hit save, hit test message. You don't have to save it and then test message. You can actually just hit test message, put your own email address in there, send it to yourself, see what it looks like, make sure that all the links go to where you want them to go, make sure that it's formatted properly for you. If it's not formatted, go back and kind of mess with it a little bit. I do it all the time. It's actually something that takes a little bit of time, but once you get used to it, you'll be a pro at it. So.
Let me chime in on the $300 thing and the formatting of the emails and stuff. Sometimes, guys, it's good to start learning a little bit of HTML and click on that code right there. I've noticed in almost every autoresponder out there, right, that sometimes you'll have maybe a guy's on a Mac and you're reading it on a PC, that sometimes those dollar signs and stuff are messed up in there. So it's kind of a common thing with autoresponders, and I think it has to do with the programming behind it. You know, I don't think there's one that works that shows up correctly on every single computer out there. So it's just, that's why it's always good, like Dylan's saying, to test and tune before you go live with a campaign.
Right, absolutely. Thanks, Tom. And here's another one. And then somebody said, what ID do you need to enter for the leads to show up in Magic Responder? I use the form ID. You have to use the form ID. So if you were given a form ID, then that form ID would be linked to your Magic Responder. If you opt in, if you've done everything correctly, okay, and you opt into your sales funnel and you've used that correct form ID, then that lead will go directly into your Magic Responder. Tom, if you'll write that down, though, just so we can double check that, we'll test that out for you folks. For the person that asked that question, we'll test that out just to make sure that we're good to go there, because there was a lot of enhancements done to Magic Responder. And that's something that we'll look into to make sure that they're going over there for you properly. So, but thank you for asking that question. Just test everything. Make sure that you got everything. Make sure you don't have any extra spaces in there. Make sure that you've, once you put your form ID in there, that you save it. Go back and maybe double check that it's still there, and then launch your, save your capture page. Go out there and test your, your IC lead page and make sure everything's working for you. Okay. The best thing to do from that point forward is go over to Magic Responder and see if your lead is in there. Now, what some people fail to do sometimes, okay, and which I recommend, is that they don't turn on or they don't set up the lead notification. All right, I like to get an email every time a lead opts into my sales funnel. I don't know about you guys, but I like to have that because it's actually a good feeling. It's a good notification, right? We're looking forward to that. There's a way at the very bottom of your campaign settings in Magic Responder to make sure that you set that up. It's right underneath where you set up. Do you want it to be double opt-in or single opt-in, right? It's right below that. You just you type out the information. Where do you want them to notify you when you get a lead that opts into that particular campaign? Okay. Everything should be working seamlessly. We actually were doing some other things with Magic Responder and IC lead pages the other day, and everything was working great. So we'll test it again though for you just to make sure that nothing has changed, and we'll bring that up to find out for you. Okay. Let's see. When will the Prodigy Bar be available for use? That's a great question. That's actually really great as far as the topic, of discussion tonight. As a Q&A on how to do certain things. And there's a lot of people out there that are not using our products because they just don't have the time to learn how to use them. And folks, I'm telling you right now, this Prodigy Bar concept really is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. It is going to be an additional cost for the Prodigy Bar, but I'll tell you right now, compared to what is offered there and the amount of service I believe that will be offered with the product itself, I know firsthand it's going to be so valuable that there's going to be a lot of people out there to use the service. So if you need it, for all of you that are not familiar with Prodigy Bar and the concept that's coming, Ingresso Cybernetico has partnered with a third-party company that basically is going to offer the service. They're very confident in obviously what's going to be delivered to you guys as members. A lot of you are asking, how do you set up a capture page? You fight with it for hours and hours and hours. It's really kind of frustrating sometimes, right? We're going to. The company's going to come out with a concept, right, that you're going to be able to just go into your back office through a Prodigy Bar. And this is going to be separate from Ingresso Cybernetico, but you'll be able to go once you purchase the solution, the program. you'll be able to go in and literally schedule a task, whether it be once a week or whatever. You'll be able to say, okay, I need a capture page created for this particular company I'm working. You'll be able to set it up. So really, really incredible service. I don't know for sure just yet when that's coming out. I would say look for it probably around the 15th of the month is around the expected date. I know that that's moving along, so just definitely look out for that. It's definitely going to be exciting. It's going to help a lot of people, and we look forward to it as well. So, all right. So somebody said.
Absolutely. I think I'm signing up for that myself. Let me answer one here. Give you a break if you want to get a drink of water or something. But the question was, with the IC blog, I noticed there's only one theme, and will there be options on changing the theme? So typically on a replicated blog, you're just going to have the one theme there, right? But with all the things that Ingresso has, your own domain name and the hosting and whatnot, just like we've showed in some of our trainings, you're welcome to set up your own blog as well. Or if you want to wait for Prodigy Bar, I'm sure that they could probably do something like that for you. Get the basic done, and then you can put whatever theme you want in there then. So definitely you have the ability to do it on the replicated blog. There's just one theme.
Yeah, and actually that's something that I know Ingresso Cybernetical, obviously folks has come out with some really incredible products just recently with Cybernetical Live and Chat and Serve, right? And there's been so many enhancements right now that the company is making. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better and better, and the value, the amount of money that you're paying into Ingresso Cybernetico to keep your business centers going is not going up, right? And I know I'm very thankful for that because a lot of companies do that, right? They actually start to include other products, and then they say, oh, well, you can't do this, and we're going to have to start raising the price. And I know Dwayne and Juan Carlos and Jatina are very they're very particular about that. They know how that can affect the associates and things. So I know that's obviously the first thing is to just continue to provide more and more value to you guys and to us as distributors. One of the things that I don't know specifically where I was going with that, but is just basically that I know that the design of the blog right now is not changed, but you could probably look for some other enhancements eventually as they continue to evolve that product. That actually is a product that was put in place for everybody to use. But then again, of course, there were some other major products that were being worked on at the time. So again, from now until the end of the year, everything that they're working on right now is to enhance everything that the company has until 2015. So if that's something you guys would like to see better, then definitely just we'll bring that up. And we'll let you guys know as that continues, to get enhanced. But Tom made a great point. If you guys want to, see, have maybe a blog set up for you so that you can customize it, right? Then Prodigy Bar is going to be a solution for you if you don't know how to do that stuff. Or we're going to do some, training and things like that as well. So, but thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. All right, so let's see. Let's kind of roll through some of these because we're getting about 40 minutes past, but you guys have a lot of questions here, so this is good, and we'll take the time to answer as many as we can. All right, so they say, let's see. Somebody said that they have sales pages with video, but the video link doesn't work with the opt-in sales page. I've sent support, capture page, no video available. Okay. Tom, can you write that down too? Let's check on that for him. And so if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the video on the sales page with the video, but the video link doesn't work with the opt-in sales page. Now I don't know. That could be because of I don't know what opt-in or what embedded link you're using, but we'll test it though and double check for you, and we'll let you know on that. We'll test out a few of them just to see if they're working properly, if they're they appear properly or not. So
I think what they're saying, we can test it after this, Dylan, but I think what they're saying is they wanted to have name and email, and on that page there's only email only options.
Oh yeah, okay.
That might be it, but we can play around with it and test it, and then figure out what to send into the tech guys for us. Okay.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Somebody said, well, actually the same person said, capture page allows you to get the name, email, but the lead pages only has the video with the email. Okay, that's what you were saying, Tom, so you were reading ahead of me there. So that's good. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll definitely check into that for you. We'll see if we can definitely get you an option there so that it has the name and the email so that you can do what you want to there. If you can actually, yeah, never mind. I was going to say something, but that's good. All right, so let's see. Somebody said, excellent, Shanika, yes. When will Prodigy Bar be available? Okay, we've already answered that. That'll be available hopefully around the 15th for everybody. All right. Would be good to have Cybernetical Live app coming soon. That is coming soon. Dwayne talked about that the other night. That is actually in the works, so you guys will be able to have that soon, where you're going to be able to literally schedule your webinars right from your iPad, your iPhone, your Android device soon. So that's really exciting. Somebody said, I thought the chat was supposed to be private tonight. Why am I able to see questions? Is there something wrong with Cybernetical Live? Actually, you know, it's interesting. Some people's questions are coming through as public. Some people's questions are coming through as private. That's kind of an interesting. That's a good question. It looks like for the most part, all of the recent ones are coming through as private. So, but there are some that are coming through as public. So, Tom, if you could write that down, we'll check into that for you as well.
Yeah, I wrote it down, and when I saw that question too, I checked because I saw a couple start creeping over there because I got two computers up. I'm checking user side on one, and so then I turned it on and then back off again, and everything's been private since then. So it could be something as simple, and we'll get with Jatine on this, but it could be something as simple as maybe somebody came to the webinar late, and so they were still set before we clicked the button. I don't know, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, thank you for asking that question, though. I did see that coming through. I just didn't know if you guys could see it on the other end, so thank you for pointing that out. All right, so somebody said, leads aren't appearing in my Magic... just bounced around here. Leads aren't appearing in my Magic Responder from IC Live. I put the forum ID in the Magic Responder field when creating the webinar, but it didn't work. Okay, we'll check into that. Now, when you say IC Live, are you talking about Cybernetical Live? I think that's probably what you're talking about. So, we'll check into that for you and check on that. But I know that when we set up webinars, especially for Ingresso Cybernetico, and we put that in there, it has been working for us. I know that they were doing some enhancements over the last few days, so not sure when you set that up, but we'll definitely check into that for you, okay? So definitely, you're welcome. We'll definitely look into that for you. All right, so let's see. Man, these are some awesome questions, guys. Thank you so much for your participation tonight. Somebody said again, when will Prodigy Bar be available for use? The 15th. That's great to see. A lot of people are really excited for that. You know, there's definitely a need for it for sure, and it's just going to continue to basically really, you know, the products. Some of you that are not using the products because you haven't had a chance to figure everything out is really going to help you because these products are all very, very incredible. So.
Absolutely. Let's take one more question. We'll wrap it up. We're getting close to an hour, so definitely gonna test out what you just mentioned about the Cybernetical Live, and then if you want to capture it into Magic Responder, it's another thing I'm going to test out. But yeah, I mean the Prodigy Bar is exciting to me too. I think I'm going to sign up for it because it just saved me so much time. You know, I can schedule a task and then go on and do other stuff. You know.
Yeah, and there's the reason why it's taking me a little while to go through this is because every time you guys do actually type in a chat window, it actually brings it back to the bottom, which is okay. I just you know, in a situation like this, which we've never had that before, it does make it difficult to go back to try to figure out who's who and where they're typing in. So let me see. Let me just make sure because I don't want to miss any of your guys' questions. Tom, if you have anything you want to discuss, go ahead. I'm just actually looking through here. Somebody said with the IC. Somebody said with the IC blog, I noticed that there's only one theme. Yep, Tom already answered that question. Somebody said Prodigy Bar question mark. When will it be available again? The 15th. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going through all this, so I just want to make sure we answer your question.
Yeah, we've been through them all, I think. So maybe somebody has one more good question. Type it in there real quick, and then we'll go ahead and end it for tonight. Okay.
Yep. So if anybody has another question real quick, we'll take one more, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the evening. But thank you all so much for your questions. This has actually been very, very helpful for us, but it's also been very, very helpful in request to, some of the support issues that you guys may have actually had, recently with some of the products. So we'll definitely bring those up. They're very, very minor things. A lot of them, again, can be due to the clearing of cookies and things like that on your computer. Just make sure you do that. Refresh your system. I know one of the things I do want to mention real quick with Magic Responder that I've found very, very helpful is if you're using Chrome, the best browser to use with Magic Responder right now is actually Firefox. I actually love Chrome and have always used Chrome, but when I used Firefox with Magic Responder, everything went so smoothly. Everything was loading perfectly fine, very, very quickly, which it does with Chrome. But for some reason, Chrome has something there that's built into Chrome that takes a little while for it to load certain editors and things like that. But I'll tell you, it was a seamless process through Firefox. So definitely try to use that and see if that'll work better for you, and so on and so forth. So let me see. Can you enter an already existing email list into Magic Autoresponder, or into, I'm assuming you're saying Magic Responder? No, unfortunately, you cannot actually import existing lists, at least at this time. Now, as you get into the larger business centers, the company has said that once you get into the larger business centers, okay, and we'll get specifics on the actual business center that's available to do so, the company will actually install Magic Responder for you on your own server. So you can then import as many lists as you want to. Okay, they don't allow third-party lists to be imported when it's on Magic Responder's private host. So, all right, well, folks, that's pretty much it for the evening. Thank you again so much for your questions, your participation this evening. I will say, quite honestly, I did not expect all of the participation that we got. But I'm really, really ecstatic that you guys actually brought your questions, your concerns, everything related to the products. I know we didn't really talk about so much on the functionality of things, which is really what I wanted to talk more about with the Q&A, but it's still a great idea, obviously, to have you guys bring some of the things that are challenging for you on some of the products. Okay, we love to make sure that this is part of what Ingresso Cybernetico is doing right now, is to make sure that these products are working the best for you without any glitches whatsoever. And unfortunately, there's so many products, and of course there's so many updates going on that sometimes maybe a little bug here and there is not identified unless those that are using the products out in the field run into something like that. So thank you again so much for your participation there, because you all are making these products so much better as we continue to evolve, the products, as the company continues to update the products for everyone. So thank you again so much. It was great to field these questions, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But Tom, if you want to go ahead and end us, that would be fine. And thank you again so much. Have a wonderful evening. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely, guys. We really appreciate all the participation. I did take some notes down. I had another window open and wrote some of the stuff down, and we'll test and tune some of that, and then turn in what needs to be turned into the programmer. So have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.